Hello, everybody. Dorothy here. We're going to talk about the new moon in the sign of Cancer, and it is on July 5th. On the Eastern time zone, it is just before 7 p.m. on July 5th. Adjust accordingly. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to talk about this new moon in Pluto because it's actually happening at the 14th degree, 24 minutes. So that's actually the 15th degree of the zodiac sign Cancer. That's halfway between 0 and 29, right? So this tells us that we're deep into the Cancer energy already. The sun has been moving through this sign for just about 2 weeks now. So we're already have a lot of inclinations as to what your theme is in regard to that zodiac energy of Cancer. We'll get to all of that in a moment. And now that we have a new moon at that with the sun, new moon is the sun and the moon in the same place. If you didn't know, sharing that info with you now. This is what it looks like from my latitude and longitude. It's not necessarily your latitude and longitude. I'm on the east coast of the US. So when we have these two coming together like this, and this new moon happens once a month, this one in smack dab in the middle of Cancer, and that means Pluto has a little say in what's going on here. This tells me immediately that this new moon on the 5th of July is definitely has a component of emotional renewal, a period that so we can really spend some time on introspection and nurturing. These are keywords for Cancer, of course, but since it is connected and is so deep into that sign of Cancer, and Pluto is ruling that sector of Cancer, it's just another system. If you don't know about it, you can just pin that and don't worry about it. I will fill you in. It really does have a lot to do with that deep, intense feelings that we're going through right now, especially as we get closer and closer to this new moon. So when we have new moons, it's not necessarily about initiating new things. I don't want you to get into that habit of we have to start something new because the moon is dark. She's new. She has no light. This new moon phase will last a couple of days, 2.5 to 3 days. You can see in this chart here that the moon by declination is really high north. That's what this means when it's like this over here. So when it is high north, so like we had the full moon in Capricorn recently, and it was very much south. So it just stayed really low in the sky at the full moon. Very pretty to see. This new moon, we can't see the new moons unless it's an eclipse, which it is not. But it's very high in the sky. And so that means it's been moving slowly through this sign of Cancer so far. So for a day or so before this new moon, so like the 4th, until we get to, through most of the 5th, because this new moon isn't until 7 p.m. Eastern time, we are looking to release a lot. And I know you're looking at this forecast. It's like, this is a new moon. What am I supposed to initiate? What am I supposed to start? But if you're going to do that, we have to follow. It's really just would be wise and important to use the whole process completely and thoroughly. That means for a day or two before every new moon, we're in the balsamic lunar phase. And so for how many hours before? Let me tell you when the moon enters the sign of Cancer, which will be July 4th at 4:51 p.m. Eastern. So especially from that point until we get to the new moon, which is 25 hours later, we are looking at and able to see some of the things that we are ready to let go of in regard to, or the things that we've processed enough and we've completely finished processing. Cancer things. What are those Cancer things? I've already talked about a few of them. It's about our emotions. It's renewing that. But what do we do first is we need to release, let go, and allow things to be what they are. We get to surrender into some emotions that we feel and surrender into our own self, because that is one of the key components of what we really need to do. We learn this through life experience, honestly, is that just connecting to our inner self, to our inner feelings, right? And what's going on, and trust that intuition. So how do we do this? We've talked about Pluto being, incredibly important because it's about emotional, that's Cancer, renewal, Pluto. And then that introspection of who we are and what's going on in our world and the things that have us activated, whether it's childhood issues are activated and triggered. We'll use that word because this can what can happen as we're getting closer to this new moon in Cancer. Because again, half of the when the moon is in Cancer is when the moon is in the balsamic phase, and the other half while the moon is in Cancer, it's in the new moon phase. So the moon is dark. So we have this mixture of things where we're surrendering and understanding. And that is if you're taking enough time to like sit down and contemplate what you're feeling and processing it. It's going to be so important that you find time to do this. I know here in the United States, this means on the 4th of July, you're going to be activated and triggered. That's a family day for a lot of people. It's a very proud day for the United States of independence, etc. It's our birthday. There's just a lot going on here. So the independence of the United States, but coming back home. I want to bring it right back to that because that is important to me. We all know what's going on in the world, but I want you to use this new moon in a way that you can help yourself. You can connect with your own inner guidance, and then follow through. So release, surrender, understand, acceptance. As soon as we surrender and accept certain things the way they are, then we're able to begin a healing process. And that's what this component is like. This is what this feels like for like what July 4th is, and then July 5th with the new moon. Now, I'm never saying to take abuse, to be abused, to accept it. I'm not saying those things. I'm saying in your own soul, in your own heart, in your own way, your own emotions, what can you surrender to that will help you to release and create more space for yourself, more space for your own sensitivities, more space for your own intuition to start to flow. So, since this is a new cycle beginning, whether we look at the monthly cycle or a lot of you know, I use the lunar gestation cycle for years now. It's amazing It's amazing to use both of these cycles. One of them lasts just a month. One of them lasts, it's almost a 3-year cycle. And so important things that we can do during these lunar phases, you can sit down before this new moon and process, write down and surrender, even take that stuff. That's when we can like ritualistically, if you like, write things down and release it in whatever is appropriate for you. You can put things in water and they'll dissolve. You can light it on fire and burn it up. But again, once we get to the new moon, we want to start journaling. And even before, honestly, journal how you're feeling. Journal what's going on in your life. You don't have to write out intentions yet. I want you to use this as a process. It's not like, oh, hurry up and sit down and just write out what you want in your life. It's not that. This is deep. This is emotion. This is feeling. This is how you can surrender and connect to yourself and to your family members and to the things that are just important to you. We all have our own insight and our own view of what you need for your caring, for your nurturing, and how you emote and how people receive that and how you want people to receive it. All of that is what's going on here, because it comes back to how you were raised, how you're raising your family now, how you are activated or triggered through emotional activations. And this is what we have when we work with this new moon in the sign of Cancer. Yeah. So I would recommend that you spend some time journaling, writing out if something has come up for you and you really want to approach it and really understand it and dig deep. Now's the time before this new moon to really do that. And then once we get to that new moon, again, it's on the 5th of July, and it is just squeaky before 7. It's 6:57 p.m. Eastern time. So just before 7 p.m. Eastern time on July 5th. And then you have a couple of days, usually 2.5 days, since the moon is out of bounds. She's moving slow. You have those days to just sit down and write out what you need. So journal about your feelings, your emotions, your intentions. What is it in your domestic life, in how you want to care for yourself, care for your family, care for others? What does that look like for you? Okay? That's what we're going to do with this new moon in the sign of Cancer, smack dab in the middle of Cancer, the area of Cancer that Pluto has a say in as well. It's called Decan. That's how I pronounce it. Now, in addition to that, how else we want to do this? I want you to process this so you can set intentions around what you want in life, what you want that's comforting, what you want that is nurturing, what you want that helps you to feel present, mindful, and allowing your own intuition to flow. That's where you set intentions. Again, it's not about initiating new action, but it is about writing out how you're feeling, how you want to feel, why you want to feel that way, and what those intentions lead to. That is how we use that new moon. If you didn't hear that, you rewind it, because that's the key to this whole new moon in Cancer, especially if you like to do ritualistic type stuff and, do intentions with your new moon. All right? Yeah. Add to this, I love kayaking. Who doesn't know that? I love walking on the ocean. Well, walking on the beach. I don't get to the beach. Anyways, I do enough of it both ways. That would be a place where it would be even more inspirational to sit down with a book and journal, or sit down and meditate, or sit down and do nothing and chant. I tell you, when I'm walking or I'm out kayaking, sometimes I'll admit it, I'll take out my phone, make a beautiful picture, send it to y'all on Facebook and Insta. Yeah, that's where I go, Facebook and Instagram. I'm an old person. I do have a TikTok account, but it's taken me a year and I'm not even at 1,000 people yet. It's dead in the water. Speaking of water, back to this. So personally, I would, get near water if that is something that you enjoy. It will just help this flow even better. Okay. So share wherever I have this posted. I do have this written out. I will post it on my blog. Patreon, you guys get it wicked early, so it's not quite on my blog yet. But by the time the rest of the world sees this, my blog will be posted. It'll be up on my blog. So go check it out. All right. Let me see if there's anything else I want to look at. Let me grab my notes. Daily reflections, inner dialogue, work with that. And the focus on the meditative nature of mindfulness, another thing to do that can help us really to gain perspectives and help us to, engage in a really nice practice. All right, let's see if I have anything else here I want to say. And then I want you to go and I want you to pay attention to, let's see, let me just pull this back to a regular wheel style. This is Solar Fire, by the way. If you want to buy it, let me know. I can give you a discount code. It's NH Astro. Saves you $54. NH Astro. If you didn't catch that, email me or message me. I'll send it to you. Here, I can do this. Once you go to checkout, you can just type in its caps NH Astro. There it is. That's my what do you use it? Discount code. That's Solar Fire. Okay. Back to this. Sometimes I got to do this. And y'all, we go much deeper over in Patreon. Patreon always gets everything first. And we do go deep. We do the weekly forecast. I always do it the week ahead, and I do the monthly forecast. I do the monthly forecast not for the calendar months, but for the astrological months. I know I go against the grain. So we do that the first Wednesday of every month. And it's 2 weeks ahead of time for when that month starts. Since we start the astrological month, it usually starts around the 20th every month. So I have that. That's all on my Patreon. I would love your support over there. That would be very helpful. Yeah. And if that isn't your thing, then at least once you see this on YouTube, just the sharing, the comment, and even those who hate me, those haters, they're out there. I'm going to hell. Hey, even when they comment, it helps the algorithms. It's so funny. I try to tell them that, but they still, anyways. You guys, thank you for this. That's what I want to look at today. I think that will that will give us a lot of insight to begin with. The written forecast has a lot to say. I'm going to stop my share if I can figure out how to do it. The written forecast has a lot for you to read if you would like to do that. I can go grab that. I'll show you. Yeah, I don't have to show you, but it's a 1,000 words. Go read it. All right. All right. I'm babbling now. Thank you guys. It's the Mercury hour when I'm recording this, so I'm chattering a little bit. I am a Gemini. If you have any questions that I didn't cover here, go read that article. And then if there's more, you go ahead and post your questions. I'll help you out. Blessings, everybody. Namaste.